Ladies and gentlemen, the things you will not see that happen just before we go live. Jeremy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday night. It's Monday Night Live, DJ Chat Night. Tonight, I am joined by beauty beyond explanation. That's right. Jeremy Brech is with us once again.
I'm here too.
No. Jeremy, you're...
No.
Kristin Cole's with us tonight. Jeremy Brech's with us tonight. Jeremy, can you introduce Kristen for those who are meeting her for the first time tonight?
I'm actually meeting her for the first time tonight too.
Okay, so, great. That's a great introduction, Kristen.
No, actually, to be completely honest, I personally just met Kristen 2 weeks ago,
right?
And the reason the conversation started was with the launch of our IDGNA and our goals and what we need to do with that. Vicki Moonsney out of Salt Lake City, correct?
Reno.
In that same area, she had actually introduced Kristen to our group because we needed someone who had some really good focus in the business, who knew the business, knew everything from multi-ops, but most importantly, the marketing aspects, which hopefully we'll get a chance to talk a little bit later. But yeah, I've been so thrilled to meet Kristen and get to know her. And I'm excited for everyone else to meet Kristen and get to know her. Introduce yourself. I'm excited for everyone else to meet Kristen and get to know her.
My name is Kristin Cole. I own Soundwave Events in Boise, Idaho. That is a real place. It's not just potatoes. I know there's a big misconception. My husband and I started our company in 2006. Like many DJs, my husband has been a DJ since he was a teenager, loves it. And together we've built a business that we're really passionate about. So in our business, I'm really, really excited about marketing and branding. And that is just what gets me going. So I'm excited to share some thoughts with everyone tonight.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your company as a whole. So you started, What was the initial launch date of your business?
2006, we kind of got a slow start. We were working full-time jobs, common story, right? Yeah. And thought maybe this was something we could do, we could get excited about. And through, year by year, as we started growing, it became more of a focus. And in 2012, 4 years ago, actually, this month, we went full-time. And that was a big jump for us. It's always scary to take that leap. And you know what they say is true. If you jump, the net will appear. And we've definitely seen that in our business, and it's been awesome. We're a multi-app DJ company, and we also offer event lighting, photo booth, and dance floors.
Cool. So, tell us your company name.
Yes.
Your company name with us, and then also, how about a web address? Because again, I don't think a lot of people really know you that much in the industry. Being at trade shows, obviously John's out in the out in the focus of our industry with my shop time, all that work. People know me from some of those things, and also writing in the Disc Jockey News. But kind of let yourself fly. Tell us how people can find you, where they can learn more about you.
Great. Our company is Soundwave Events. We are actually in the middle of a rebrand. And so if you look us up on Facebook, we're Soundwave Music and Lighting Design. That will change by Monday. This is our rebrand week, so we've got a lot going on here. Our web address is www.eventsbysoundwave.com.
And with the rebrand, is that the new company or is that the old company?
Yeah, Soundwave Events is the new company. So Soundwave Music and Lighting Design and Photo Booth and Dance Floors was getting a little long. So
I can see that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, you kind of got, I don't want to say thrown into the whole IDGNA concept, but as you know, and I think some people or some of the viewers are kind of aware of what it's all about. I guess I can kind of explain a little bit so that people can kind of catch up, and then you can kind of tell, why you even thought about getting involved, why your interest kind of struck this concept. So let's start with, what is the IDGNA? IDGNA is our goal as an industry. The cool thing is there's so many great minds in this industry that have basically come together to figure out, what does it take to run a DJ business? What does it take to become a DJ? What are some of the things you should know? And the thing we all have discovered is we don't do everything perfect. So if we could do it all over again, what would we do? And that's exactly what we try to do with this concept of the IDGNA is let's help the people who are the up and comers, who need that guidance, who need the trainings and the workshops. I've gone through so many trainings and workshops, and now we have this one place where people can find the source for DJ education. And, there's not a lot of talk about it quite yet, just because we're working on baby steps on launching it, making sure it's done correctly. But tell us how you even got involved in this whole process.
Sure. So I met Vicki at Mobile Beat this past March, and she and I had some great conversations. And following the show, we stayed in touch, and we just started talking about the IDJNA, and I was excited about the program and what's being offered. So as our conversations continued, it sounded like it might be a good fit to be involved, and I'm excited. One of my favorite things is to coach and to help people become better. I think like a lot of successful businesses, not only in our industry, but all industries, we have coaches and people who have helped us and taught us. And there's just something really fulfilling about doing that for others. So through our 10 years, we have learned a lot. We have learned the hard way a lot, and we've learned the easy way sometimes. So being able to share that and promote that while bringing together other strong industry leaders, I think is really exciting.
Yeah. One of the things that, and I don't know how much presentations or how involved you've been in, like you talked about Mobile Beat or any other conferences, but you're right. It's just a way to give back. And the IDGNA, I think, will allow a lot of people who might not be comfortable standing in front of 1,000 some DJs. But the thing I love about, like you said, coaching and being able to share, I love the fact that so many people aren't afraid to be vulnerable, and they're not afraid to share. And I think that's one of the things that we see as an industry. People have some great ideas and they can do some amazing things, but it's kind of like, I'm just going to keep that to myself. So the fact that you come in and like you were saying, it's so fulfilling. It truly is as an educator. And, hopefully I inspire. I know that you're going to inspire a lot of people because you have an amazing background. And and that's what our focus of the show is here tonight. Is that correct, John? I know you're on mute, so I'll give you a second to unmute to tell us if that's what we're talking about tonight. But is that what we're talking about, John?
That is kind of what we're talking about. Is we're going to talk about some marketing things and have some fun with that, and just getting some things around here. And you know what? It's not going to go to. The software is working, but now it's not working perfectly. It was flipping between the two of you as you were talking so well, so I could just leave it. Now I've got to switch it back to Brady Bunch. So, but we're going to be talking tonight about marketing. If you guys want to find out more information about the IDJNA, just go to idjna.org. You can go there and you can see the some different things, and you can actually sign up to be on the list. Down in the description of our video tonight, you go down there in that area, there is a link down, not a link, there's a text. You can text IDJNA right there to 66866. How convenient is that he has it right there? And that will get you on our list. So you'll be notified as things come forward. We're going to be doing, sometime later this summer, we're going to be launching the webinar side of IDJNA, which is going to be a monthly educational webinar that's going to be a little bit more in depth than what we do on Monday nights. It's going to be something where a presenter will be coming in and presenting the information just like you would see at one of the national DJ conventions, but they're going to be doing it online so you can see it while sitting in your underwear in your living room eating bonbons.
Well, I don't know if that's really a good idea, since it'll actually be a two-way video conference and we would be able to see them eating bonbons in their underwear. So
and
we
they
might
wouldn't be sharing the bonbons, so that makes it a bad idea. Scratch that last part, but still text IDJNA to 66866 or whatever it is in the comments down below, or description down below.
And, speaking of that, like John said, we have this classroom, we have this area where people can learn, and basically that's going to be our soft launch. We want to kind of encourage people to start getting educated, find some of these presenters and the content that's out there, because a lot of these people are creating the curriculum. And we're not asking too much out of Kristen quite yet, because we're snowballing all of that. We're going to let it all build up, and then we're all going to throw it at her. So that way she can all do it. She can take care of the marketing and the branding and all that when we're really ready to hit this thing hard. But yeah, this summer it's really going to be a teaser to show people what this concept's all about. And the fact that all that information is right here in one website. So again, like John was saying, you can go to idgna.com or .org. And if you have questions or want information, you can text IDGNA to 66866. So we are excited about that launch. And we're more excited to hear about Kristen and some of the amazing things that she does in the marketing world of our business. So let's learn.
Let's jump into that right now. So each of us has a different topic. I believe that we were going to, we've kind of identified a problem that DJs have. We've seen it. We've personally experienced it, what have you, with our marketing. So Jeremy, did you actually pick one out, or were you just going to take one of either Kristen's or mine?
Yeah, so I can tell you everything that I do wrong. But I don't know if this session's going to be, I don't know if there's enough time. No, one of the things that I wanted to focus on, and I think it's actually going to be good that we start out with these are the things that I need to work on, and I know a lot of people need to work on, and then Kristen come in and say, this is probably what you should be doing, or you're an idiot. You should have been doing that the whole time. So we're going to start off with, some of the things that I notice in myself, and I think a lot of people notice across the board, is exactly that. We kind of spread ourselves too thin, not in our business, but in our marketing. We see this idea of Facebook. Oh, they've got, they have marketing where you can buy ads on Facebook. Oh my gosh, YouTube, you can buy ads on YouTube. Google ads, where do I put my money in my website? How do I promote my website? Am I supposed to be promoting my website or my Facebook page or my YouTube page or my, there's so many different areas that people get tangled up in. And I'm there. I guarantee that I'm not using my money correctly because it's, social media, it's everywhere. How do I stay on top of it? I'll put a couple pennies here, a couple pennies there. And by the time you look at it, you didn't really hit a main focus. And again, I think Kristen shaking her head saying, you're right, you are an idiot. But I think a lot of people do see that, by the end of the year, you look at your marketing budget and you say, gosh, where did all this money go? Where did I spend all this money? I know one of the things that I find successful, and it's not so much in the advertisement / marketing aspects, but I think the biggest thing is just being out there and being available for people. And what I mean by that is, doing wedding shows, doing trade shows. If you're doing business to business, then try to focus on going to a chamber event, or try to focus on, and some of those things are free, or it might be a membership. But again, if you have that face-to-face interaction, that's still a way to market, and that's still a way to get yourself out there. Like Kristen said, she's going through a rebrand. We're doing a rebrand as well. So I'm really interested to see what Kristen says here in this next part of our session. And I'm taking notes as we talk. So, like I said, my biggest thing I wanted to point out is, and again, I think people would agree, spreading yourself so thin, and you don't have a good focus on your budget when it comes to the marketing aspects.
So Kristen, what would you say when I'm sure you've seen this, you've experienced it yourself, I'm sure, because we all have. What are some tips or some ideas to try to not be so thin when it comes to the marketing like that?
It's true. I think it's overwhelming because everyone wants a piece of our marketing budget. And so it's easy to spend a lot of money in places that doesn't make impact. So any good marketing starts with consistent marketing. If you're going to do something, you have to stick with it. If Facebook is your number one goal and you just really want to work Facebook, you've got to stick with Facebook. You've got to do it right. But if it's your website, your SEO, is it wedding shows, you've got to stick with it. And then I think the other thing that's important to remember is that it's quality over quantity. So if it's really not bringing the return, maybe that's because you're not being consistent, but maybe it's also the wrong marketing. And so choosing really good avenues of marketing, I think, can help you focus in a little bit more.
All right. So you're saying I need to call YouTube, Facebook, and my SEO company and start canceling some of these.
Well, if it's working, it's worth evaluating, but I think it's easy for, we get calls all the time from people who want to help us build our SEO, which we don't need that. to, wedding directories and wedding shows and advertise in my folder I'm giving to all my clients. And there's so many ways to spend your money, but focusing in is really important.
So Kristen, you talk about if it's working, how can people measure the return on investment? How can they measure those results?
Yeah, so one of the most important ways to do that is to track your results. And I know it's really hard when you're on the phone with a lead or sitting down with somebody to say, how did you hear about us? But it's critical. And the next step past that is not just asking, but making sure you have a record. You have a way to look back and see, where did my leads come from this year? Where did my clients come from? And those can be two very different sources, leads versus clients. So I think that's the most important place to start to see what marketing's working.
So with the millennials, where do you see the focus being? If you could say, I'm going to put all these eggs in this basket, what are some areas that you feel are very important to be focusing on right now?
I feel like, and maybe this will surprise some people, but I feel like the very most important place to spend marketing dollars is in relationship marketing. And that is nurturing vendors in your market. I think it's overlooked. I think that those relationships are not nurtured as much as they could. And probably 50% of our referrals come from wedding planners, photographers, venues. And that is the best place for us to spend marketing money, in my opinion. The second is SEO. So making sure you're on that first page of Google, I think, is critical. And yes, lots of other things play into that. I'll be honest that through our social marketing, social media marketing and other advertising, Google and vendors always outweigh everything else. So that's my thought.
So when you talk about being the first one, I'm going to come back to the vendor relationship. When you talk about being first on the first page of Google, now, I noticed that people see the Google ads and they buy into the Google ads. Now, for some people, to them, that is a paid advertisement and they skip over those things. I know I personally, if I'm looking for a landscape designer, then the first couple I'm skipping over because that doesn't mean they're reputable. That just means they paid money to be up there. So they might not be my top pick. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that.
I've always agreed with that. And I've talked with SEO people who that's their career to build SEO. And they're surprised when I tell them that, because they think, wow, well, people are spending so much money to be at the top. But as a millennial, I see right through it. And I think that's true for a lot of millennials. They want genuine, real, valuable referrals. And clicking on an ad is not going to do that for me.
So tell us about like the click per pay ad or pay-per-click ads. So you see a banner on the side of a website. Now, when someone clicks that, does that actually help their SEO? Because it basically is a link saying, "Oh, that's important information," or I think that information is valuable on that banner.
I think potentially it could, but I think that where it's a paid advertisement, it is viewed a little bit differently as well. Sure. So Google also wants genuine traffic, right? They want to see that you're offering a valuable service, you're reputable, you're offering something to people who are coming to your site. So they want to see first and foremost that you're doing that the right way. Okay,
so what is the right way?
Well, we could talk for about 3 hours about SEO.
It's okay, we'll give you 2 hours.
SEO is a big thing, and I think we all know that. Again,
the most important is the organic SEO. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that.
Okay.
So when I am teaching people about SEO, we talk about ease of use, that your website is easy to use and it offers content, not just lots of, stuffed keywords and things that are hard to read and hard for people to navigate. Google, and I talk about Google a lot, but that can be extended to Yahoo or Bing or other search engines. They see, I know.
I didn't know there were other ones.
I know. Because everyone uses Google, right? But ease of use, quality content, and then video and photos are really, really important. And it all just works together, right? Your social media helps with your SEO. Your referrals with other partners, industry partners, and if they're linking you on their website, that's important. Reviews are important. It's just a big pie, and there's lots of little pieces that bring it together.
The one thing I found interesting is you talked about the photos are the important part. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that. If you have a photo that really jumps out, make sure that you can watermark a photo all you want. But people who are going to steal the photo, they'll figure out how to get rid of your watermark. Right. But the thing is, you have to label that picture with the right labeling, so that way when people see that picture, it goes back to your site, yet it also explains your company. So when people are searching for uplighting in Idaho, then it will, it'll find your company because it says Idaho Uplighting. And basically it kind of creates SEO inside of that image as well. So I think that's one thing that people really overlook that we could really be taking advantage of.
That is a really great tip. And I think that people don't realize that video and photo can be searchable. And if they're tagged correctly, it's an important part of SEO. So that's a really great hands-on take-home tip tonight.
So let's talk about YouTube, because YouTube is the second biggest search engine,
sure.
And which is obviously owned by Google.
Right.
And what you'll notice is, I think a lot of people are seeing this as well, but when you type in, DJ out of Sacramento, there's a lot of YouTube links that are showing up towards the top as well, because again, Google's saying, hey, we own this, there's value here. And, people are making some really good video content, but like you said, it has to be tagged properly. Do you want to talk a little bit about YouTube tagging?
Sure. Well, let me just talk a little bit about YouTube, actually. So anything that Google owns, I find value in. Even if I don't use YouTube on a daily basis, if Google owns YouTube, then YouTube is important to me, right? The more that we can support Google, I feel like that's a good thing. They want to see that we're using the tools that are available to build quality content for users and clients. Yes, it is important to tag correctly in YouTube and to include usable information, right? We don't want to put in our title of our YouTube video, Boise, Idaho DJ lighting wedding, linen building venue center, right? Like that is not usable information. But if we can phrase that in a way that's, check out this awesome DJ located in Boise, Idaho as he spins a wedding at the linen building, that is something usable that makes sense for what we're uploading. So I think that's really important. Now, YouTube is an important search engine. Have I found that brides are searching for me on YouTube? Probably not. But I think it's a good place to, build more SEO.
So you talked about supporting Google and everything that they own. Do you have Google glasses?
Hold on.
You do? Oh my gosh, I knew
it. Within reason.
The one thing that jumped out at me when you were talking about, using the right titles and things like that. Again, another tip, and I think people really need to realize is think like a bride. Don't think like a DJ. How is a bride going to search for you? How are they going to be looking for your information? Are they going to type, what you think they would type, or are they going to type what a bride would type? And again, I think that's one of the things that really gets overlooked. So if you had a suggestion, obviously you're female, so you think like a female. Guys don't think like a female. They think about gear. I've got EV speakers and I've got this Sennheiser microphone.
Wait a second. Look which one of us is sitting in front of gear and which ones of us aren't sitting in front of gear. So,
we got our tables, that kind of thing. Again, I think people need to think like a girl. Would you agree?
100%. And actually, that is when we get to my tip or my mistake I feel like DJs make, we're going to talk more about that.
Okay, cool.
So let's bridge to that because we're running out of time. Jeremy just likes to, monopolize the whole. I've got big problems.
It's only an hour.
No, we only have a half hour tonight.
Oh gosh, Kristen, take it away.
You want me to jump in?
Yeah, but go ahead. We're going to go a little bit beyond, so we'll be okay.
Okay, let me know when you want me to cut me off.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've noticed in my 10 years in the DJ industry is that, yes, this is a male-dominated industry, which I think is awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like a mistake that's made a lot is that men tend to create their brand around what they think is cool and what they think is going to work and what they like. Colors, designs, things that they're putting in their logos or on their website. And a huge mistake I think that DJs are making is really taking that all the way with their marketing and branding, because they're not trying to sell to themselves. They are trying to sell usually to a bride. So a 28 to 33-year-old, hopefully college educated young millennial is who they're trying to sell to, but they're advertising to a 45-year-old male who thinks gear is really cool. And so I think it's difficult to break out of that. And I feel like that is an advantage that I've had in the industry, is that I am my ideal client. And so I have been able to tap into that a little bit easier than what I've seen elsewhere. So you've got to think about, like, who is this bride, right? What does she want? What does she like? What's attractive to her? What does she want her wedding to look like? What's the design? Like, what's she thinking about? How is she planning her wedding? What sites is she using? She's not using YouTube to plan her wedding. She's using Pinterest. She's using Instagram. And so the more that we can get to know her, the more we can adjust our brand to match what she's going to want. So I think it's really, I think it's been a struggle in this industry to target that.
So that actually brings up a good point. You talk about targeting a bride and not targeting a DJ. And Alan Berg, who's actually a writer for the Disc Jockey News, he talks a lot about websites and designs and all that type of thing. He talks about SEO and things like that. But the biggest thing is, how appealing is it to the bride or the viewer? Black websites, they're the past. White websites, calm colors, those type of things. That's what a bride wants to feel from her wedding. Doesn't want to feel the linkers and all that stuff. And again, I think that is a truly important aspect, is that welcoming or that handshake before the bride even gets to meet you. What does your website feel like and look like?
Right.
Is there anything else? Because I want to get back to, before we're done here, before John says you guys are done, I want to get back to the customer or the client, other vendor relations.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of touch base on?
That we're good. Let's talk about
she basically wanted to sum it up by saying, guys need to get in touch with that feminine side and stop talking about gear.
Have a girl design your site and your media. I have my wife. It's fantastic. She does a great job. She always looks over everything and makes sure that I'm on key. So let's talk about the vendor relationships. In our matter of like 3 minutes here, tell us maybe the top 5 things that we as DJs can do to create those vendor relationships, or to nurture those vendor relationships.
Yeah. So this industry is 100% relationship based. And the most important thing, I feel like, it's to be genuine, because any relationship has to be genuine if it's going to last. And so really care about these people. And I know we're at weddings and, we're hanging out with the vendors and we're working together, making a great event. And then after that, it ends. And we may not follow up with that person, but compliment them, give them a shout out on Facebook, share how fantastic they are, refer them to your clients, take them a gift, drop off something. One of the things we've been working on is trying to get away from the chocolates and the cookies and really just common things that happen a lot, the Christmas basket. And we're trying to give something more meaningful. For example, my one wedding planner that we work with a lot, there is this swear word adult coloring book that is just perfect. And I know it seems weird, right? But that connection is so much greater than like, oh, here's another box of cookies. Thanks the 100th time for that referral. If you can make it personal for that person, right, it goes a lot further. So you got to think outside the box.
So get them an F-bomb coloring book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not for everyone. Not for everyone.
Like here you go, Reverend Greg.
No, but you've really got to know these people.
It's about effing time I got one of these from my church members.
Oh, good. I had the other one. John, are we good?
I think so. We've gotten through a few of the things tonight.
So this is exactly why, and hopefully a lot of you got some great information from Kristen and what she shared. This is exactly why we were excited to bring her onto the IDGNA board. She brings a lot of value and a lot of great resources. So, Kristen, again, why don't you tell us how people can maybe reach out to you if they have questions a little bit further or more than what we were able to go over tonight?
Yeah, I would love to chat with anyone and share ideas and help in any way I can. Again, my company, Soundwave Events, www.soundwaveevents.com.
And you can soon find Kristen on a classroom that will be on the IDGNA website, hopefully within the next couple months. We look forward to that launch. And John, that's a wrap.
Yeah. And you'll be able to see her first article in the Disc Jockey News with the June edition, which will be hitting next week. I think we've got next Monday night, so next Tuesday. Tuesday morning, you can start your day, as you usually do with Jeremy Brech, but you can add a little extra something. Kristen, Jeremy, thank you very much for being with me tonight. Gang, we're going to be switching over to our second show. There is a link in the description of the first show, so just go down there and it'll tell you what the link is for the second show. We're going to be shutting this stream off and going to the next one. If you're watching this on Facebook Live on the Disc Jockey News page, it'll be another window that'll pop up here in just a few minutes. I don't have any way of giving you that because it doesn't until it just appears. So once again, Kristen, Jeremy, thank you very much for being on tonight.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back in a few minutes.
See you, Kristen.